The first question is, well, why don't we just use the standard wall tool to do the masonry on my project? And I'm going to explain a little bit why we would use the irregular dispatch in lieu of the standard wall tool. So the standard wall tool will absolutely work for you. So I've got number 5s at 48. I can place it real quick, real simple. Got my starts, got my ends. I do mess around with the stock lengths because that's the length of bar that I want to, not to kind of exceed. But I do have the ability to go a little over, so that last lift, if it's right at that, 6'6" length instead of wasting another lap, we have that ability to adjust for. And then, obviously the end conditions. So, yes, you can use the wall tool for just simple, 48 inches on center, standard 4-foot lift plus lap. Doesn't matter the bar size, so you can utilize it. Now, the thing that we find, though, in most types of masonry construction is the design engineer is requiring, 3 bars in the corner, maybe 2 bars beside an opening, just some different variations. You have places where you've got the control joints for the masonry that you've got to watch out for. So what we're going to do is, in irregular dispatch, utilize what we call the Vertice and spacing method. So it's a combination of the two. Now, how does it work? First, we're going to wind up drawing a guideline for my masonry, which includes a couple vertices. So in this situation, what we're going to look at is we're going to start here in the corner. I'm going to say O for origin. I'm going to come in 4 inches. I'm going to come in 8 inches. I'm going to draw a line over to my other side. I'm going to say again O for origin. I'm going to come back 12 inch, come back forward 8 inch. So what did I do? I've created a line with some vertices, which you can see. First one's 4 inches in, puts me in the center of my start and finish block, and then 8 inches over for the block next to it. So this gives me my 2 bars in the corner and my 2 bars at the opening, plus it gives me a run to place the spaced bars at properly. Now, in this situation, the contractor is requesting for 4-foot lifts. So I'm just going to offset this bar up to 4 foot. Now, utilizing irregular dispatch, again, in the combination method, I'm going to say I've got number 5s, and my spacing is at 4 foot on center. Now, I have 2 other options. I could do it strictly based off of vertice or strictly based off of spacing. But again, we want to be very specific as to where some of these bars are placed. And that's why we've placed vertices on our guideline. So now I'm going to select my concrete. And I'm going to select my guidelines. And I'm going to go from here to here. Now you can see the bars have been placed in. I've noticed that I've only have 1 bar at the end. I'm just going to put a 2 at there to override that quantity, and now it puts my 2 bars. And I'm just going to save it. So I've got bars placed at 4 foot on center, running in between the bars that I've specified where I wanted them to be located. Now the next thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to simply select my guidelines and my bars. And I'm just going to copy these up, lock it in place. I'm going to go up here, O for origin. And I'm just going to come over a number 5 bar. Again, I'm going to select my bars and I'm just going to keep copying these up. Now that I've got them offset, just lock it in place. Come up to that last lift, keep it locked in place. Come up to that last lift. And now you can see that we're actually outside the concrete. It's not a problem. I'm going to get rid of this bar. I'm going to get rid of this guideline. I'm going to get rid of that guideline. Now I'm going to rotate the front so we can see what's going on. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to double click. I'm going to move this guideline down that I've got selected, lock it in place, come to the top of concrete, O for origin. I'm going to come down 2 inches. double click my reinforcing, and instead of having a projection for that lap length, I'm going to rotate that to a 90-degree bend. And I'm just going to save it. So now we've got our lifts all the way up the building in this one area. And now it's very simple to repeat this process, selecting what I want. I'm going to copy. I'm just going to use the corner here because I'm going to use the corner of the door. Disconnect. I'm going to lock my level. I'm just going to come up here to search function. I'm going to type stretch. I'm going to make sure that I grab the other side of that vertice. Right? And I'm just going to come down here, lock it in, O for origin, and then come back 4 inches. And now I've done the bars for that next area. So you can see it's very simple just to, once you get it set up, just to utilize the same bars over and over and over. And if the building, was a wall was a little bit taller, there's a parapet that you need to add in another section. It's very simple to do by just moving up and down that guideline. Now let's complete the placing plan for the field to place a reinforcing by. To create the 2D drawing labels, just cut a section and the labels automatically generate. Then you can simply move them as needed by dragging and dropping.